And a very good evening, everybody, and welcome back to this live edition of Tea and Tops. And you can tell it's live because Jason was there a minute ago when I started the introduction video, and then he disappeared, and now he's back again. So yeah, welcome along. It's good to be back. We had a couple of weeks off there, school summer holidays and whatnot, causing chaos with personal plans. But look at us, we're back. My name is Graham, and as always, Jason's webcam is now working. So we'll say good evening. Good evening, Jason. How you doing?
I think I have the world's most sensitive webcam. Just to breathe on it and it's out. So, but yes, doing good. Glad to be back. Yeah, it's been a good summer. I think I finally got over the jet lag from all the time in the States, and yeah, crazy news for the last few weeks there. So
I know, my God, it's not like there's not been much going on, right? So yeah, we're gonna dispense with the usual format, and we're just gonna cast our minds back over everything that's happened since we last spoke, which would have been when Jason had just freshly returned from the boat off the National. You can see he's still feverishly taking notes there. So yeah, there's quite a lot going on. In the court of law, in the court of Twitter, as it shall forever be known. I refuse to call it X.
It's not X. It's got to be Twitter.
It's Twitter, yeah. Come on now. I think that officially makes us boomers if we're going to continue to refer to it as Twitter, but whatever.
Do you think they walk in the office and go, X?
Yeah. I think Elon might. I don't know if anybody else does, but I think he's fully on that bandwagon. So yeah, we're going to have a little look back at some of the big stories from the last few weeks, and have a bit of a chat about those. So as always, if you're watching along, you want to throw your 2 cents in or your 2 pence, please feel free. We're live across our socials, so you can get us on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're on Twitch as well. We can see your comments if you're watching on live, so feel free to get involved, interact with us. We love it when you do. So, where shall we start? Let's start with Jason's excellent titling of this week's show, Who Will Watch the Watchdogs? So, this is a story that broke just a couple of days ago. So we might actually be reasonably quick on this because it's a fairly big story in the States. And I've seen it in a couple of UK groups, but I don't know how widespread the story is here. But for those who haven't heard it, a gentleman called Juan Garcia, who runs the very popular handle Card Porn on Insta, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, had quite a few followers, 112,000 followers on I don't know what that is, the screenshot there. I think it's Instagram.
I think it was Instagram, yeah. He had
Instagram. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a much bigger posting down there. This gentleman has vanished. So he ran a very popular social media enterprise related to cards, and I think the general premise was if you hit something hot, you could send it to him, and he would share it. And obviously, he had his 2 cents in. I think he might have done a bit of breaking here and there as well. But this story revolves around, I should say, Michael Jordan jersey. So this is a jersey that was acquired, I believe, for some in the region of $45,000, if I remember right.
$25,000.
That's going to be about 25 grand. Oh my God!
It was 25 grand. Yes.
25, yeah. So 25 grand, and then was apparently photo matched, so authenticated via photo matching by a company called, I think it's MeiGray. It's MEIGRAY Authenticator. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of them, but then photo matching isn't something that happens frightfully much in the card space. Why would you do that? So obviously it happens in memorabilia, but as far as I'm aware, a very well respected photo matching authentication company who deals in quite high-end collectibles. I believe they've done some soccer jerseys, some messy stuff I saw their name associated with, and they had apparently photo matched this jersey to the 1996 Eastern Conference Finals, Game 3 and Game 4 versus Orlando, and it had authenticated as being Jordan worn. It was subsequently resold for over $1 million. And it turns out now that it looks very much like it's fake.
he played the long game on that one. Let's say. So yep. So if you didn't know what he did, he found the photographer of a small Chicago newspaper who would have probably had credentials for that game and would have taken photos of that game. And he passed away in like 2006, I believe. and then took images and photoshopped it. He must be one hell of a photoshopper to match those up there, and then started a foundation under that photographer's name, despite the fact he's been deceased for 12, 13, 14 years. And yeah, and that's just wild.
That is absolutely crazy. I'd completely forgotten about that part of it. Yeah, I'm very quickly just scanning the thing. So yeah, so it's been heavily rumored that this Mr. Garcia is behind the entire fakery, and he's just he's done a runner. He's vanished. He's deleted the socials. Always the sign of an innocent person when they vanish from social media and delete their very popular and no doubt somewhat profitable social media enterprise. They delete it from all the channels. Deleted their Twitter, deleted their Insta, deleted TikTok, everything. But of course, they have made a cool $1 million on this alleged fake Michael Jordan jersey. So, yeah.
The wild thing is, I didn't realize the guy was based in Australia.
He's in Australia. Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Yeah.
I assumed he would have been a North American collector because he had such good content and seemed to be feed into those things. And, to think that some guy in Australia was the leading industry of the watchdogs of all the sports, I guess it proves you can be, famous anywhere.
That's it. Yeah. Give yourself a fancy title, right? Wow, it's pretty. So there's a follow up from Darren Rovell, who broke this story. I'm not too sure who Darren is, but
yeah, Darren's the big sports investor guy. That's that Darren Rovell. Yeah.
Okay, that's that guy. Okay, so apparently, according to Rovell, Carporn took the photoshopped Michael Jordan pictures to PSA at the National. Presumably in an effort to get them authenticated as genuine photos. And PSA said they were fake and refused to slap them, which is pretty hilarious. So, yeah, this is right up there as one of the, I guess, since the great autograph fakery from the late 80s, early 90s. This has got to be up there as one of the biggest scams ever pulled, if it turns out to be true.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, so shame on the grading company for not actually checking that. So apparently they only looked at the photos. They didn't actually look at the negatives or the proofs. And that's usually what they do there. So that was why there was a big mistake for that, because he provided the photos from his my guy or whatever that foundation, and then they sent the photos to them. And then they use those photos to match it. They went, oh, okay, yeah, look, that must be it. I mean, this is a really well thought out con. Like, I mean, he must have gone, if I can photo edit this and then buy this for 25 grand and then say it was the game. I don't even know if it's a famous game. It's not a game I can think of other than Eastern Conference Finals. He must have scored like 61 or something that game like that. And it's not the flu game.
No, but I mean... But the first thing I thought when I read this, that struck me as weird, is they appeared in 2 games. Would they really have reused the same jersey? I mean, it's the 90s, I guess, right?
I don't think there was they weren't wearing jerseys every night, and then I mean, maybe they were, maybe they weren't. Who knows? Yeah. I mean, we're all superstitious. Like I said, if your underwear fits right and you're hitting 60 a game, you're gonna wear those until they fall off you. So
that's a great point. Yeah, you're really gonna wear those suckers out, are you?
But I mean, he must have had to think this out, because he had to set up that foundation, had to find a photographer that wasn't huge, and would have had access to it. Yeah,
it seems farcical that he's pulled this off by himself. This is like an Ocean's 11 movie or something. And I'm not the first one to make that comparison, right? I know I'm stealing that from something else that I read, but yeah, like I'm fully expecting like a little Asian guy to pop out of a trolley somewhere and start doing gymnastics to pull this off. It's that level of chicanery. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, just the fact that you would have tracked. I mean, the information is probably out there, but I mean, you're talking about what, 96? You're talking how many press photographers would have been at that game there, and to find one that had been deceased and then set up the foundation. And I mean, I have no idea how long that foundation was there, but built a website for it. It did everything to show there was a background for it.
Oh, excuse me.
And then of course, the authentication company never asked for the actual slides to match it. So
that's an interesting part. I always kind of wondered how photo matching worked, because it seemed like a very interesting way to authenticate something as you look at a picture and you compare it to something that's sitting in front of you. It's not, doesn't seem like the greatest method, but I know it's, like I say, it's very popular, and especially in the soccer space on signed jerseys and stuff like that. Photo matching seems to be the best way to authenticate it. I guess in baseball and stuff, we're used to authentication either through MLB itself with their holograms that they put on the products, or I guess the recognized authenticators like PSA and JSA and stuff like that. But I guess it's just why should that be any more legitimate than looking at a photo? Like to look at an autograph and go, yeah, that's real.
So a lot of times they'll use Getty Images, and that's how they photos out for baseball. So they'll look for the grains of the bat or any stains that might be on like the batting gloves like that there, so you can go and look through a various time to go there. And I guess with Getty Images, you're kind of dealing with the high end. You're not going to find anyone bigger than Getty Images. So to take this guy and kind of, I don't know, a cursory look to go, okay, well, he kind of might have been there, but I mean, I think it throws the whole game used industry into complete disarray. I don't know,
absolutely, yeah.
What are you going to value your stuff there? Are you going to believe everything's game worn? I mean, and where's that? Whoever bought that for $1 million is gonna want their money back.
Well, yeah, that's very true. I don't know. I didn't see who it was sold through, or
they haven't named it yet. It said that it's completely. Two sources said it was confidential, and they won't say who the buyer is.
They won't say who.
At least as of right now. I mean, we're 4 days into this, so
no, it's true. Yeah. Do you know what platform it was sold through? Was it through like an auction house or?
Oh, off the top of my head, I cannot remember, but I imagine it was sold through an auction house, because you're not going to get $1 million bid through eBay.
Well, this is not a real one, that's for sure.
That's true. Yeah, the shill bidding like that. But I believe it was sold through an auction house, and it might have been the same company that authenticated it. They might have been, but I could be wrong there. Don't quote me on this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I've just gone onto their website. This me Gray. I'm going to call it Me Gray, but please feel free to correct me if it's wrong. It's probably wrong. And it says an update on the Jordan. It said on Thursday, Me Gray froze its authentication of certificate number 160092, the 1995-96 Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan red jersey. We received new information on Thursday that has called into question the legitimacy of the evidence used to authenticate the jersey. We're continuing to research this new information. So there's nothing new on their website, certainly, with an update on it. There's nothing new. The story I was quoting from earlier appeared on Sports Car Radio, and they've not put an update on it yet. But as you quite rightly said, we're only 4 days into what is a pretty big and developing story. But yeah, innocent people don't tend to delete all their socials and vanish off the face of the earth. So it'll be interesting to see if Mr. Garcia appears again, and if he does, what exactly he has to say for himself. But yeah, a breaking story from the sports memorabilia space. And yeah, you're right. Like the whole game use thing. I guess in the modern day, this is less likely to happen now, because I believe it's just as there is in baseball. There are on-site authenticators now at every game. If you're at a baseball game and you catch a foul ball, like somebody will approach you and say, "Here you go. Here's a little hologram for you, just to authenticate that this was a foul ball, and this is who pitched it. This is who hit it. This is the game it's from." And you get your little MLB hologram on there, which is quite a nice thing. So. But yeah, it's like I say, it's a hell of a ruse. It doesn't feel like something that one person could pull off by themselves. But yeah, $1 million turnaround isn't too bad. But yeah, that becomes the next question. You're right. Where does the liability lay? Is it with the authenticators if they broke away from their normal authentication process, if they didn't look at, as you say, photographers' proofs, so they didn't look at negatives or whatever, and just took these 2 pictures which PSA deemed to be fake? If where does it lie with them? Does it have to go back through the, like you say, presumably the auction house that sold it? Are they insured on it? But yeah, somebody's going to have to get their money back somewhere, right?
Yeah, I don't know if we'll actually hear about it. It might be one of those things like, oh yeah, we fucked up, and here's your money back.
Yeah, I'll be insured. Like I'd like to think if it went through one of the big auction houses, I imagine they carry insurance for this sort of stuff. And if the authenticators have got any sense, they probably carry insurance as well. But who knows? It's yeah, it's a wild one. That is for sure. It's a wild one.
So yeah, we'll see the fallout in the days to come. I guess we're back in 2 weeks' time. We'll definitely have an update on this to kind of see what's happened this and instead of where the world is Carmen Sandiego, it'll be where the world is Juan Garcia. we're gonna find him in the outback with his $1 million.
Yeah, you'll disappeared off somewhere. There's plenty of places in Australia that you could hide yourself. That's for damn sure. So, all right, breaking news. Let's carry this one on in a couple of weeks once we've both had a chance to read the article fully, and or I have certainly to read the article fully. And yeah, we'll see how this transpires.
I think a lot of it has to do is it is Labor Day weekend in the States, so they are off today. So we probably see some more stuff come out tomorrow. So.
That does make sense.
So but yes, yeah, crazy. I mean, man, I just not. I mean, this was the guy that was the watchdog. He was the one calling everyone out.
The watchdog, yeah. The watchdog for the watchdog, yeah.
So I don't know who watches them, and do you trust them? I mean,
I don't trust anybody who puts themselves in that position. If they're voted there, or they're given that role by their peers, then that's fine. But just because you put it on your Instagram bio, it doesn't make it true. Do you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, I mean, Darren Rovell was accused of inflating the slab ticket market because he was buying them and selling them there and pumping them all up there. So, I mean, here's the guy reporting on that.
Listen, that's just. Some would argue that's just savvy trading, like our friend Mr. Pardee Betts, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
If you corner the market in something, you control the price of it. It's just like any other commodity, like wheat or orange juice or whatever else. Those of us who played enough SimCity when we were a kid will understand that.
I was thinking of Trading Places and Frozen Orange.
That's what I couldn't. I had that as a reference in the back of my head, and I could not remember what it was from. That's exactly what it's from. It's from Trading Places. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. That's good knowledge, man. Thank you for saving my pop culture reference.
That's one of those Christmas movies I watch every year.
Yeah, it's a great film. It's a great flick too. Yeah, I watched it for a while. Anyway, right. So from disappearing Australians to disappearing NFL licenses, I guess we can't not talk about the fact that the NFL Players Association just upped and walked away from Panini. So we all knew it was coming. It was supposed to happen in 3 years' time in 2026, but just mere weeks ago, the NFL Players Association turned around and told Panini that with immediate effect they were ending their relationship. And Panini are now no longer licensed to use the name and image likenesses of NFL players. They cannot use them. And that's the major one. That's the major license. So this is now turned over to Fanatics. Let's give it its proper name. This is now turned over to Fanatics, and with immediate effect, Fanatics can now start producing NFL cards. I've seen some hysteria on YouTube. People saying, "Oh, there's not going to be any NFL cards now for the whole season." You can bet your ass that Fanatics knew this was coming, and that they are already producing cards, and they have them ready to go, and they will be there to fulfill your needs almost immediately. Panini do still retain a license with NFL. I don't know what that gives them. I don't know if that means they can use a bit like Panini do with the baseball, or did, because they don't do it anymore, but with the baseball cards, where they could use the player's name and image, and then they would put a city. So if it was a Yankees card, it would be the Yankees blue, but it would just say New York. It wouldn't mention the Yankees. It didn't show the logos or anything like that. Or if they're just screwed, and all they can produce now is badges, because all they have is the NFL license to use the team names. Yeah, that happened. Needless to say, they weren't happy, and for the second time in a matter of weeks, they went to court to take on Fanatics in court. They had requested mediation, which is like the business-to-business equivalent, I believe, of getting a restraining order. If Paul S was listening, he'll no doubt correct me on Twitter. So please feel free. I'm pulling this from the dusty corners of my mind. But yeah, it's not made a blind bit of difference so far as I can tell. The Players Association have walked away from Panini. It's now all in Topps' hands. Sorry, let me rephrase that. It's now all in Fanatics' hands.
Fanatics, yeah, you're gonna have to get used to that.
Fanatics' hands, yeah.
Yeah, crazy that they broke the contract 3 years early, but there must have been negotiations. There must have been a payout from the Panini and said, "Look, your cards are crap." That's not true. They're not crap, but yes, I'm sure they just backdoored them and said, "Look, let's just get the process going now." And, it must have been a pretty toxic relationship, or Topps threw enough money at him and said, "Yeah, we'll start the year early." I mean, like you said, the cards have been in production for months, I'm sure. So, kickoff's Thursday night, so I'm sure there'll be boxes on the shelves before Thursday night.
Yeah, well, I mean, right. I think 2 days after it, like Panini went ahead with the releases of Prism and something else. I can't remember. I'm not going to remember, so there's no point in me sitting thinking about it. But they did release 2 products right after it, presumably because they had already set the release dates or something. There's probably some legal thing that got them around it. Yeah, when we're able to put all of these pieces together with the benefit of hindsight in, like, I don't know, 18 months time, once all this dust and furore blows over between Panini and Topps. And maybe no, I keep saying Topps. It's not Topps.
Yeah, just say Topps. We know it's Fanatics, but yes,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
everyone knows what I mean. Yeah,
Topps by Fanatics.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, once we can actually, like, so with the benefit of hindsight, put all these pieces together and actually piece back through the story as it happened, I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, we've seen a mass exodus of staff from Panini to Topps, which ended up with Panini taking Topps to court and accused them of all manner of nefarious tactics to get staff to come and join them. Then we've had the big antitrust lawsuit. Now we've got this, and it doesn't feel like the end. But when you see, like, when you scratch a little bit off the surface, and you see just how far Fanatics have got their tentacles into everything to do with the card industry already, that maybe not everyone's aware of. Like I say, you do have to look a little bit under the curtain, or behind the curtain, sorry. It's actually kind of mad. So the one that two things that piqued my interest in the last little while, something that stuck with me and I couldn't figure out why, when you were talking about the National, was that there wasn't very much of a presence, or not as big of a presence that you thought they would have, that Fanatics / Topps would have at a prestigious event like the National. And then that sounded surprising to me, considering how they basically have control of the market, and they have all of the licenses either with them or they're coming within the next couple of years now. So it kind of baffled me why there wasn't such a big presence there. And then I remembered that Topps / Fanatics Fanatics recently announced the creation of an events division.
Oh,
so Fanatics are coming after the National, and they're coming after live events. So it sort of makes sense in a way. Now, Topps already has the Industry Summit, which happens early in the baseball season. It usually happens around about spring training, and they tie it in. It's usually in Arizona, and they tie it in with baseball spring training. It would be interesting to see if that Industry Summit morphs and becomes another big card show that's put into the calendar. There is space for I mean, there's other big card shows. There's the Burbank card show that's been on this weekend. As Jason already pointed out, it's Labor Day weekend. Is that right? Is that what you said?
It is Labor Day weekend. Yep.
Labor Day weekend. Yep. So the Burbank card show is a pretty big one. Obviously, the National is the National. There's the Philly show, which is a big one as well, and there's a big one in Dallas too. But they all pale in significance to the National itself. But yeah, just I think about 4 weeks ago, I saw it on LinkedIn that Fanatics have launched a live event division, so you can watch out for Fanatics branded live trading card events coming pretty soon, and I imagine that will take the form of something that's going to try and take on the National.
Do you think it's events, or do you think it's breaking? Is that considered a live event?
They have a separate breaking channel, so they have a separate breaking business, and it is off and running already. So it's not strictly breaking. If anything, it's a Fanatics twist on TikTok. No, sorry. Well, yeah, it is. It's a Fanatics twist on TikTok Live and the TikTok shopping channels that have suddenly become very popular. Like
TikTok shopping.
Like,
that's okay.
Yeah, dude. So like it's like QVC. Imagine QVC in the 90s, but on TikTok and run by like prepubescent breakers in their bedrooms who are ripping people off left, right, and center. So, allegedly, I should throw that in before I end up in court. It's really taking on Whatnot. So Whatnot is the eponymous breaking platform, which is the same idea. It's a platform for anyone to come and break on, and it tends to be kids breaking stuff or people doing like selling like singles and blind bags and all manner of nonsense. They appear in the scammers groups weekly, Whatnot, because there doesn't seem to be any protection for anybody other than their wallets. So Fanatics Live, I believe it's called, has launched, and they recruited some of the biggest breakers in the business to come and break on the channel, in addition to these breakers still breaking on their own channels. So the likes of Leighton have been on it. I believe Backyard Breaks, yes, they're still going somehow.
I don't know how they're still going.
It just goes to show you, if you're an established breaker, right? If you're an established breaker, you can pretty much get away with anything, and people are still going to come and throw money at you, which is ridiculous.
You know what we need? We need some guy that's a magician and just this sleight of hand with the cards.
yeah. These people should at least take some lessons and not just be like, there's somebody at my door right after I pulled this Tom Brady rookie autograph. Oh, somebody's come at my door. Just hang on a minute. Oh no, it was a Shed Long second year card. It wasn't Tom Brady. So, what a shite that is. So Fanatics Live is something different, and it's already going. So it's called Fanatics Events at the minute. Whether or not they change the name of it and spin it into a different project, I'm not sure. But yeah, Fanatics Events is coming. So I found that pretty interesting.
I knew.
Have we got this subject? I don't know.
We were talking about National, and it was where
we were.
Yeah. Yes. So there was in there, but yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's a tough one. Like the National's National, you might co-sponsor it there, but you really have to convince local dealers to do these things there. You know, so Dallas, the Burbank, and
I don't think they'll take I don't think they can never go head to head with it. It's not like they would ever go at the same time. You know, if you're going to go head to head with the National, you put on your event at the same time, and you let the public and the dealers and whoever else decide who's going to be the alpha. I definitely think they want to bring something of that scale to the market, and I think they may well bring new and innovative ways of doing it as well. Will they take it to a rundown convention center where people are getting robbed at ATMs, or do you think they're going to take it somewhere cool, like the Nashvilles of the world, the Las Vegases of the world? Do you know what I mean? They're going to elevate it in some way, or they're going to differentiate in some way and make it attractive. You know, because as much as the Nationals and card shows in general are very cool, has the format changed in the last however many years? Like, even from your experience, you're going there and from your experience, maybe more than 50% of these guys don't even have like a social media presence. Like,
yeah,
so
no, it was like stepping back into 1990 and 89.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
not much has changed. It's just the more value of the cards.
That's it. But that's not the clientele that Fanatics are after. Fanatics want the dare I say, younger, social media savvy, people who, it's all about building your personal brand these days, right? So those are the people that Fanatics, I believe, will be targeting for their events. The traditional dealers, like you see, who are operating out of their little mom and pop shop or whatever, and have a phone number, and were confused when we gave them a business card that didn't just have an email address on, and they would have to go to a website to find out a way to contact us. That's not the type of people that Fanatics are going to be targeting as the future of growing the hobby or anything like that. It just doesn't make sense, does it?
To be fair, those guys will be passing away soon. We have to go on someone else.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a great point as well. Yeah, so it makes no sense for them to go after them. So I remember why we got on. So we somehow managed to apex into the subject because the NFL rights got taken away from Panini. But so it just goes to show everything revolves around Fanatics.
Yes. You were saying you can look under the bonnet of the car and see if Fanatics has their tentacles and everything.
That's it. Yeah. Like I said, history I think will show when we put all these bits together and just what it all meant. But yeah, it's very interesting. The other interesting part of that that I think came out as part of the antitrust suit between Panini and Topps is that, again, I've done it again. When I say Topps, I mean Fanatics. Between Panini and Fanatics, was that Fanatics own like a 60% stake in the company that makes 90% of Panini trading cards.
so they bought them anyways.
Yeah, and like this, I didn't know about that, and like the whole manufacturing process and the logistics of the whole enterprise kind of fascinates me, as and just in general, it's like, how do you pull off something like that? How do you print cards that look like stained glass and refract and light and all that kind of stuff? Like, just the process of it I find quite fascinating. So I'd been aware of the companies that printed the cards, but you have to, like I say, you have to scratch away a little bit and do a little bit of poking around. And I didn't do the poking around. I just found it. I think it was in it might have been in one of Paul Lesko's threads, actually. That Fanatics own pretty much a controlling stake in the manufacturer who makes 90% of Panini's trading cards. So one of the things that was in the antitrust lawsuit was that Panini were concerned that Topps had access to their manufacturing process, and well, they do, because their parent company owns the company who's printing their cards. So it's it all seems it all stacks up what they're alleging. Topps obviously turn around and say, well, it's not us. It's like we're just owned by Fanatics. If Fanatics control that company, that's fine, but they're not sharing anything with us. Whether that's right, wrong, or indifferent, because obviously Topps will have relationships with their existing printers as well. And whether or not they use the same printing company or they use different ones, or they obviously don't just use one, because Panini products that we buy here in the UK are printed in Italy and then are shipped over from there to us in the UK. So again, it's a bit of an American issue, but yeah, it's unbelievable. Like I say, you don't have to look far, and Fanatics have got their finger in pretty much every part of this. And that's how I got onto it, because I was trying to illustrate how Fanatics are into everything, and we don't know it yet.
We got there in the end.
Oh, far out. It was like a 10-minute journey I just went on.
But yeah, I mean, that's wild. Yeah. To think that they've done the research to go, how do we acquire these companies not there, and probably all they're really doing is driving down the value of Panini to go, yeah, we're just going to buy your name. It's not worth $4 billion now, it's now worth 1.5 because we control.
That's exactly what they did to Topps. They took remember, this was a catalyst for the Topps purchase. They took the MLB license away from Topps. The MLB license isn't held by Topps, remember, it's held by Fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened 3 or 4 months later, as I correctly predicted, and it's one of the only things I've got right so far, they turned around and bought Topps for absolute peanuts. Paid a huge amount of money to get the license, and fair play to them. That, as you say, tanked Topps' value, and then they bought Topps. And then all's right with the world, because life just continues for Topps, and now they've got like a big backer.
Yeah.
And now they have the NBA license coming, they have the NFL license, and so it's happy days for them, or for the company, the artist formerly known as Topps, I suppose, because it's just Fanatics now.
Now they just need to actually, get products out on time and do redemptions when they're due.
Well, that's it. That's it. They did promise that was one of their things. They were going to try. They were going to rid the world of redemptions and making all kind of outlandish statements to try and get consumers on side after they torpedoed and then subsequently bought Topps. So we'll see. We'll see if that comes to fruition.
So do you think they do redemptions just because people weigh the packs? So you couldn't have a sweet card there because it will weigh more, and therefore,
yeah. I mean, there's the best reason I know for it is that the players don't return the cards on time. So one thing that I really like about baseball, and I've made this point to a few people in the soccer collecting space. The one thing I really like about baseball is in the majority of the products, you have to go in, you're getting into the reasonably low end stuff. But in the majority of products, baseball autographs are all on card. There's not very many stickers unless you go to like Big League. And yes, I know if you like there's stickers in Museum Club and yes, that's slightly different, but I get that. But you're getting a whole lot of other bangers alongside your sticker autographs in Museum Collection, sorry, not Museum Club. I'm getting confused with Stadium Club because I'm waiting on 2 boxes of Stadium Club Soccer to be delivered from Topps. I haven't seen them yet. Anyway, that's a different story for a different day. So there's certainly in soccer where I don't think really you see any redemptions, but I would say comfortably 95% of all autograph products in the soccer collecting space are sticker autographs. So you got a player sitting down and doing like 1,000 stickers, and you can put those on any product for any product within any year. And we know that from the recent lawsuit. I think it was Giannis or something. I think it was tried to sue Leaf because they used a sticker that they had kept for like 5 years, and I believe he had tried to claim that they're only allowed to use it for 3, and Leaf like, no, that's not how it works, our kid. Like, we can use these whenever we want because they're our property now. So that's the biggest reason is that the players don't return the cards. And so quite how you get around that problem, I don't know. I really hope it doesn't mean that we're going to see an increase in sticker autographs in baseball products, because that's one of the things I like about collecting baseball autograph cards. They're actually hand signed by the player. It's not just a sticker and yes, they sign the stickers. I get that.
But it's not the same as handling the card.
Yeah, it's not the same as exactly. Yeah, it's having been like hands on the card and physically signing the card itself, not just a sticker that's then applied to the card in a factory. It's not the same. It's not the same thing.
Did you see players on Twitter go, I hit this card of yours there, and go, I remember signing that card. That was the 1/1, and my hand was shaking because it was such a cool card, and I wanted to have a good autograph on it because I knew it was going to be the most valuable card from there. And they have cool stories about that.
Yeah, and it's a soulless thing just to sit and sign a sheet of stickers. It's funny you bring that up. So Victor Wembanyama, who's the NBA, right?
NBA, it's San Antonio Spurs draft pick.
Phenom, yeah. He's doing a bounty program. I think it's with David Adams, and if it's blowout, they'll never forgive me. But one of the two, where he's the first card he signed. I think it was a Topps Bowman U, if my memory serves me correctly. So the very first one he did, it's not the 1/1. I think it's just a base. So he autographed it and had inscribed on it, my first autographed card or something like that. And it's up for bounty with one of the major retailers. It's either David Adams or Blowout. Not sure what you have to do to win the bounty. Yeah, so that's like a unique thing that they did for that he did with one of his autograph cards. And you just wouldn't get that if you were dealing with stickers.
No,
I mean we've talked about this a few times on the show, and my attitude towards it is, well, these guys are under contract; they're getting paid at the end of the day. So if they're not returning the cards on time, they're in breach of contract. Now we saw Leaf did it. Leaf were the first ones through the wall, and the first one through the wall always gets bloody. But they decided to instigate legal proceedings against one of their athletes for not returning the cards, and then lo and behold, after they got the letter saying we're taking you to court over this, the cards arrived like 3 days later by FedEx.
$2,000 sticker autograph, no problem.
Yep, no worries. There you go. Sorry about that. So whether or not more of that needs to happen, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to nail down 1,000 players and get them to sign the cards, but at the same time, if these guys are contracted to do it, then they have to do it, right?
Yep. I mean, gosh, you probably don't remember, but P70, the Stan Musial card came out, and the guy had a sheet of Stan Musial autograph stickers and was selling a Stan Musial and put them on the Project 70 cards.
Oh wow.
You know, it's like, oh, I had a sheet of these. You know, why wouldn't I put an autograph on there? And it was like, that's pretty cheeky. The guy passed away, and you're using the stickers to put on there. But then Topps did it recently with one of their cards. They put a Stan Musial sticker auto on one of their cards there.
Did they really?
Like, well, they probably still have them kicking them out somewhere. I imagine there's a huge file of autographs. You know, and
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Like I say, Leaf. I don't think Leaf do hardly anything on card. It's like they do a lot of sticker autographs, and they reuse them through time as well. And like I say, it was a fairly well publicized case that we spoke about in the show. Maybe it must be middle of last year, I think it was. Where Janus, I believe, tried to sue them over it, but was unsuccessful. But yeah, that in my mind, that's how you get rid of redemptions. But you have to force the players to sign the cards and return them. If you, like I say, if you want to guarantee it, if you don't have but then it's easy to say, well, if you don't have the cards, you just don't put them in the checklist. But your plan and product and your printing checklists and whatever else, like months in advance, you just have to trust these guys are going to return. And
yeah, I mean, it's hard. I mean, I talked to Gabrielle about that, and he said, I did 2,000 autographs for my first Bowman card. He goes, you just do it in like 20-minute segments. And you go, all right, and I sit down for 20 minutes and I try to bash out as many as you can, and then you do your thing, and then you find another 20 minutes, you'll do that. So, I imagine, and that's for a third round draft pick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're not talking about a first round draft pick. I mean, how many autographs do you think Jackson Holiday has signed since being that there? Tens of thousands of autographs on that.
I would imagine so. It's crazy. Yeah, and it is. I think maybe people are a bit quick to trivialize just how much work and effort goes into signing the cards, but.
Cards, balls. I mean, gosh, there would be a box of balls,
jerseys, everything, Funko Pops, you name it. Like you can buy it autographed. Imagine how much stuff Ohtani signed in his lifetime.
Yes, I mean we had that about who had a good autograph and who didn't, and you can see the evolution of people. Is like, I gotta sign a lot of these, and I gotta do it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, like Ohtani's signature went from like proper kanji autographs from his time in Japan, and I think a very small window of US professional memorabilia has got his kanji autograph on, and then I think his signature's changed every year for the last 3 years. I guess as he becomes more and more annoyed when they keep signing a whole bunch of stuff. No wonder he ripped up his elbow. It was from marker pen fatigue. It wasn't from baseball. Geez. Well, let's see if they can get rid of redemptions. That was the big promise they made. I'd forgotten about that. It's interesting. It's an interesting talking point. Anyway, we spoke about Leaf, and there's been a change at Leaf. We don't often talk about Leaf on the show because they don't have any license apart from hockey, and I'm not the biggest hockey fan. Well, actually, that's not true. I do quite like hockey. It's just not on here. It's difficult to find. It's on like Midnight Play or something. Like subscription channel that's gone bust or they're not gone bust, they've withdrawn from the UK market. So I don't even know if NHL's on the telly right now, but they do have the license for NHL. They recently replaced their CEO, which rather came out of the blue, and was swamped by the news by various Panini versus Fanatics stories. So this may have gone unchecked or missed by a lot of people in the hobby, but longtime CEO of Leaf, Brian Gray, has stepped down, citing the need for some time away, some time with family. It says, for the last year, the Leaf team and I have been looking for that's not right. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. I'm reading the wrong one. I'm reading the second part. No, I wasn't. Hold, please. I'm having a nightmare.
But he did step down though, so yeah. So
Yeah,
sure,
this has been a long race. For the first time within the past year, I'm tired. I need to create margin in my life to focus on my health, family, and all the things I love about life that were relegated to the back burner over these last 3 decades. So there you go. That's the paragraph I was looking for, and that was from Brian Gray, the former CEO of Leaf, on Twitter. And then just a few days later, his replacement was announced, a gentleman by the name of Kevin O'Neill, who I believe has come from Topps or has a background with Topps. Mr. O'Neill said, "I'm both excited and proud to be named the next CEO of Leaf Trading Cards. This position comes with big shoes to fill, along with the responsibility of continuing to produce highly collectible, innovative products. I look forward to connecting with the many stakeholders of Leaf, including employees, partners, and collectors, starting next week," said Kevin O'Neill, CEO of Leaf Trading Cards. And that was from Leaf's press release about it, again on the artist formerly known as Twitter. So yeah, a new head of Leaf coming in.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of there, if there's any kind of innovations or whatnot, or basically it's a lame duck status till Fanatics buys the NHL license.
Well, I think I was speculating for a while that rather than go after Panini, because Panini felt too big to buy, that they would go after Leaf. And I think NHL's the only one that's missing from them having all the eggs in their basket. A lot of purist trading card collectors. So Leaf do a lot in the non-sports space. So their cards are very popular. They obviously they're, I guess, responsible in no small part for revolutionizing or dare I say modernizing the trading card world. Did they not do the first refractor card or the first memorabilia card or something, if I recall correctly?
Oh gosh,
Mr. Historian, I think it's something like that.
I remember Leaf came out in like 1990, and it was high end. But yeah, I think they were
maybe the first Chrome card or something,
something like that, because it was Score that came out with the first auto card, and that was with the Mickey Mantle one that was the chase in there. But yeah, no, I mean that was right when I was not collecting, so I missed that whole kind of
there you go.
era.
I think they have some landmark moment in the hobby, that's for sure. I don't recall exactly which one. I should maybe look it up.
I'll look it up, but you keep talking. So.
Oh, thanks. I thought I was going to get a break from talking.
All right.
No, I'm kidding.
You go look it up there.
I'll tell you. Yeah. Let me tell a story. You go look it up, right? And I'll tell a quick story. And you don't even know this story, so you can listen to my story as well. We'll move on from Leaf very quickly. And while Jason looks this up, and before we talk about Bunt to round out the show, and we'll finish traditionally as we do with Bunt, even though I said this wasn't a traditional episode. It's been a while since I had a moan about something. Well, that's not true. I moan all the time, but
I've got something to moan about too.
Do you? Right. I'm moaning. Yeah, I'm moaning first. So I'm going to give you the condensed version because we've already been going for 48 minutes. So over the last sort of little while, my general impression of the trading card collecting scene here in the UK is that, in general terms, it's sort of felt like it's been a lot better. Certainly, far less toxic than it's ever been. The hobby is booming. We have card shows popping up all over the place. Every day there seems to be a new breaker appearing on Instagram. We've seen Whatnot has taken off here quite well. And yeah, generally the hobby has been pretty buoyant, and certainly in the card collecting groups that I'm in, the level of vitriol and whatever else seems to have kind of petered off until just this past week, where I'm not going to name the group because they have a retail arm that carries the same name, and I certainly shan't be publicizing them. But the admin of the group has always been very firm on the stance that it's a bit more. I believe the phrase he used was the Wild West. He'd be quite happy if this was the Wild West of the card group. So things that are normally frowned upon in some of your more civilized groups, like bashing people's prices or calling somebody a bell end or whatever, like you kind of get away with this stuff. But they protect the group and monetize it by charging you to promote anything. So if you have some cars listing on eBay you'd like the community to know about, then you can by all means advertise it in return for a small payment to the admin of the group. Same way you can publicize your Instagram, or they'll post on Instagram for you. If you want to pay £1,000, they'll do you an at everyone in their group on Facebook. Now the group's quite big. It's about
£1,000.
It's about 4,500 people.
Jesus.
4,500 members the last I checked. Quite how many of those were active and not bots, I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, or if you wanted to eBay, I think they would give you an affiliate link, so they got a kickback on any of your eBay stuff. So they were very much against people promoting their own groups without doing it through the admin first. So there's been a lot of problems in that group, as you might imagine, with scammers and people reporting of being scammed, and not necessarily in that group all the time. I'll defend it a little bit. And just because it's a big group, people were wanting to put the names out there to say, be aware of this person, I got caught in something and whatever else. So whenever I saw a post like that, I would comment on it and be like, it's a shame you got caught out. For those who don't know, I'm a member of the admin team in the Sports Cards Scammers UK and EU Facebook group, which is a central resource that we like to try and keep as up to date as we can with the scammers. And I usually try and encourage people when I see anyone posting about a scammer, is I'll comment on it and say, hey, it'd be really great if you could put this post up in the UK, the Sport Card Scammers. It's really difficult to say. I should name it something different. EU and UK group. That's like a central location where lots of people go to get information on people to make sure, like before they get into a deal. And I believe, although I've not been able to reach the admin of the group, I believe I was removed from that group because I kept suggesting people use a scammers group. So not trying to promote anything, not trying to promote a competing card group or anything like that, merely talking about a centralized resource within this group was enough to see me excluded and sent away, cast asunder, dare I say, for daring to suggest that we hold a centralized location where people can make other collectors aware of scammers. So there you go. That's been my experience in the last week, I guess, of the UK card collecting scene. One person, one admin on a power trip because they've got a group that seems to be full of allegedly mostly scammers, despite encouraging that behavior. And yet, for trying to help protect my fellow collectors, I appear to be the one who was removed from the group. So thank you.
The watchdog. Who's watching the watchdog?
Who's watching the watchdog, bro?
You're secretly Juan Garcia.
I am. Yeah. Have I shown you my Michael Jordan jersey collection?
I can photo match it for you.
Yeah, man. There you go. So yeah, there you go. Like I say, as a passionate observer, since I'm no longer involved in the retail, I don't have a dog in this fight anymore. I'm not pushing my group. I love my little community. They're still there. Whenever I post things every so often, I get great feedback from the members of my group. But I'm not publishing my group. I haven't been on my socials in a long time. That's all had to take a back burner with changes in personal life and changes in the work life and all that kind of stuff. So like it's never been about pushing a competing service, a competing group, or anything like that. It's about trying to encourage the use of a scammers group, the use of a tool where people can protect themselves. And then there you go, one admin on a power trip. Nope. See you later. Not even a, hey, I know this isn't exactly a competing group, but could you not? Just just away. And some of the stuff that goes on in the group is unbelievable as well. Unbelievable. The things that and like I say, the more civilized groups you'd be removed from is kind of not actively encouraged, but you're not told not to do it, put it that way. So yeah, there you go. So after feeling all warm and fuzzy for quite a while about how buoyant the card scene was, it's a shame to find out that there's still little Hitler Facebook admins who think that like they can be bigger than everything else. It's a shame.
There you go. Like I said, must be something in the air.
It must be.
Summer's over and the scammers are back.
Yeah, man. Unbelievable.
Well, as you know, I had someone reach out to me and send me an email. I said, hey, I live in a small town in Ireland, and sports cards are expensive, and I want to do a school report. Can you please send me a card or two? I said, that's quite nice. Here's a young lad, wants to get to the sports card thing. And we've all got a bunch of junk cards, and I was a recipient of some kindness from somebody else. So Andy Bates gets a shout out for here because he sent me my 2020 tribute. You can't see it here. Edgar Martinez.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's an awesome card. He said it was just kicking about in his collection and it needed to go to a new home. And so he had a nice random act of kindness from Andy, and he said that there. So
that's super cool.
I don't even, I was so impressed by that. And I was like, all right, I feel like sharing. I said, here's a young guy. I want to get people into the hobby. And so I posted to the group, said if anyone else would like to send this young lad to do a school report, because it was for a school report. And if I will give you the details. And one member, I said, yeah, happy to send some stuff. And I gave him the address. I said, oh, I know that person. Oh, really? Yeah. I said, okay. He said, yeah, he's a nice guy. Buys cards for his son. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I better do some digging before I, send any cards out that way. And so I sent the young lad an email and said, hey, is this your Facebook profile? No. I'm not on Facebook. Okay. All right. Well, okay. So I asked the person who knew him. I said, do you have the email address? And said, oh yeah, they've paid through this email address. It was a different one. So I was like, okay. So all right, well, let's see if I can figure anything out. And I said, who's your favorite team? Like, because I want to send you some cards from your favorite team. And lo and behold, it was the same team as the person who was asking, the parent who had asked for the cards there. So,
oh dear.
So I'm not going to say who it is. I'm just quite.
No, let's not.
Quite disappointed.
I kept names out of my story as well.
Yeah, just that you would. The community is small. Everyone knows everyone there, and somebody, recognized the name right off the bat, and to use your son to ask for cards, I don't mind sending some cards. I got a bunch of cards worth nothing.
Like you say, you've got all these Shed Long cards that you have to do something.
Well, those aren't going anywhere. That's his own separate pile. But I literally gave away like 10,000 cards in Seattle to the coffee lady because she had nephews that liked them.
Yeah.
Didn't think twice about it. Did it just as a nice gesture. But to go and ask people, there must be other people who are getting emails going, pretending to be a young boy.
Pretending to be a Nigerian prince who's really into baseball cards.
Yeah. I was like, oh, what a terrible way to ruin your. Now, I'm obviously not outed who this person's there. And every person who said they were to send cards, I did explain that it was probably likely for the father and the son. But
yeah.
And it was up to you if you wanted to send cards or not. And a lot of people were like, you know what, it's junk cards. It means nothing to me. No big deal. So there are some people that sent some stuff out, but I was just like, it's such a small community, and the fact that somebody clocked it right off the bat.
Yeah, straight away. Yeah.
He's in the group. He could have seen the post.
Yes, that's a great point. Yeah. Like the optics on it are really bad, right? Even if it is like try to do something nice for his kid, like just say that then. Don't like pretend to be the kid or whatever. Yeah,
because I sent the link to his dad's Facebook profile, and he goes, "I'm not on Facebook," and I was like, "Well, here's the name you have. Here's the name you've given me.
This thing,
and he lives in the same county of Ireland." It's like, well, maybe we should talk to that guy because he's got cards and he's got cards from your favorite team. So,
yeah, you guys should meet up. You guys should do a little card show.
Exactly. So it just killed me because again, I had received a random act of kindness and I wanted to do something the same because like I was feeling. I mean, I've got cards. I'm literally gonna go and give to somebody else I know. And I pulled some out, and I got another set of cards for somebody else who wanted to give them out for some kids for baseball practices. And I was like, I have no problem. Like I said, I'm happy to ship those out. No big deal. But to use your kid to ask for cards.
Yeah, it's gross, isn't it? Yeah, the
Yeah.
the face you're pulling sums it up perfectly. It's just kind of gross. Yeah.
Yeah. I just. Yeah, I know it's not for a school project now. I mean, it would have been cool if it was, or maybe it is. I can't say it is or not, but
yeah. But now you don't know. That's the problem, right? There's been doubt cast upon it. So yeah, it's like I said, the optics on it are terrible. So it's kind of a bad look. It's a bad look.
So yeah. So
oh well. Yeah, so Jason and Graham's Tales of Woe are done for another week, which means we can move on to Jason's favorite topic because there's no projects anymore. Pop's Bunt.
Pop's Bunt. So yes, we'll go into Bunt here. We finished the tribute event. So I did something that I normally hadn't done. This is our 3rd year of doing Bunt, and I was surprised it was another tribute event. But before I started, I kept track of how much value I had in my cards. So how many coins I had, how many card count I have. So I took a snapshot of my little member profile before and after to see just how much time I spent on Bunt and how much I grinded that event for 3 weeks. I'm glad it's over. And kind of the consensus for the Bunt group there was like, I'm done. I need a break. Like it is a grind for people who did that. And luckily, I was not busy at work, so I was able to grind it probably more than I should have. But then again, I think of 2 years ago when I was using 2 phones and timers to grind it.
Oh, that's it, man. Yeah. You were like a crazy crack dealer when you're when you came up to visit with your many devices and your alarms going off all the time.
Yeah, it was great. So yeah, but you know what? It was worth it, and I still get offers all the time on that Ohtani card.
So, really, that's amazing.
I left it unlocked, and for the most part, it wasn't a big deal. But with Tribute and all the new people on Tribute, I constantly got offers on it there, and I'm like, yes, your collection score of 1.2, and it is not worth my Ohtani card all put together. And then I'll talk about it's interesting to see how people play Bunt now, because most of the time I trade with people within our community and people I made there. And you literally I ran into a guy who had a collection score higher than I had started this year, but because he spent so much money that boosted his collection score. Like I was like, I looked and like he had a couple cards from last year, but his whole set was from this year, and he just had iconics and legendaries and like that there because he just thrown that much money into it. And I was just like, because he had only traded with like 200 people. I was like, how did you get a collection score higher than? You spent a ton of money.
You spent a lot of money, yeah.
And that would do it there. And that's kind of seems because they've gone to the diamond thing, and if you're doing that there seems to be a lot more people that have, fairly low scores but have very nice cards because they've spent money.
Got you.
So, because I figured you were grinding the tribute event out like I was. So,
do you know what? Can I be perfectly honest? I don't think I ever went Bunt in like a month.
There you go.
Like genuinely, like I don't know if I just got fatigued way earlier than everybody else, but because I hit the first tribute event pretty hard.
Yeah,
but it was like there was that weird coincidence where like 4 of us all hit iconics like straight out the gate, and then I just had tumbleweed for like the next 10 days, and I was like, this isn't worth it now. And I don't think I've been back to it since.
I hear you, because I did keep track for about 4 days because I had not hit any iconics or super rares, and I was curious to see with the pack odds. And again, it was just too much to keep up with my stats there. But I had done quite well with the rares. I had just slightly above there, but I had done quite not as well with the super rares, and ended up.
I remember you posting those stats. That was actually pretty interesting.
So
anyway, give us the outcome of your project, because I'm on tenterhooks here.
Right. So I started with 6.6 million coins. I finished with 13.2 million coins. So
Jesus Christ, you've got more coins than me now.
I doubled my 3 weeks. I doubled my there. I started with 153,000 cards and finished with 188,000 cards. So I gained 35,000 cards.
Oh my god, dude.
So yeah, so I had that. My collection score went from 107,000 to 137,000. So I gained 30,000 points in my collection score.
But but not just 30,000 points. So as you've just rightly said, we've been playing this for like 3 years now. You increased your collection score by 30%.
Yeah.
So that's a year's worth in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
but that's what they say. I mean, you can buy, you keep getting the super rares. So you kept getting those and getting those and getting theirs. And it was really interesting.
Or did you just grind?
No, I grind. I didn't spend a dime on that.
So wild.
So yeah, so
Jesus Christ.
So that's why everyone has those high collection scores now. Because again, there's so many different super rares, and so I couldn't believe, because I was like, this is me interested to see how much I've actually done there. And because most part I open up packs to get the base set. I'm usually happy, get some rares, trade them for mariners there. But yeah, I did grind it out there, but I found trading was quite difficult this time because you have so many new people who don't necessarily trade fairly or think more value about that, or haven't traded long enough to kind of suss out that you can't go and ask for stupid demands for things. So, but during the 3 weeks, I made 664 trades.
Jesus Christ. What? 664 trades in 3 weeks.
I did 10% because I did 6,100 trades before I started and ended up with almost 6,800 trades. So yeah, so 664 trades.
I mean, that's just impressive from a logistical standpoint without even. So how much did you complete of it then?
So I got everything that super rare below. So it was interesting to see because of there was, what was it? The super rare event cards. So the signature one was the one where if you completed the event, you got one of those. Only 1,800 people did that, which I thought was fairly low for a free event.
Yeah.
But all these super rare award cards, they were all between I think it was 100, 140. So there really wasn't that many people that actually collected the proper cards and not the event cards there. Or again, people were asking
Jesus, no wonder. Look at the flipping effort it took.
Yeah, like I said, it was slow time at work.
do you have like thumbs left, or have they just been worn down to nubbins now?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, I'm doing a break. Plus, I was able to trade everything for what was before that, not Color Splash. That's that now. Cosmic. So I was able to fill out like that and trade my way there. So
talking of Cosmic, available at all good retailers now. Topps Cosmic Chrome returns for its second year, and it's Tackle Fractors. But like, you're going to get me started on Chrome, and I'm far too tired.
Well, we can talk about 2 weeks of Chrome, because Chrome is obviously out now, and they're the Tackle Fractors.
Chrome's out, Cosmic's out. I think Sonic's coming out. If it's not already been out, I think it's coming back soon. Soccer Stadium Club Chrome, which I alluded to, which was an EQL release. Remember them? I managed to score myself a couple of hobby boxes of Topps Stadium Club Chrome UEFA Champions League, Champions Club Champions competitions or so. I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, so there's lots of shiny. So you'll get me started on Chrome again. Like I say, I'm far too tired to start my Chrome.
Well, we can talk Chrome in 2 weeks' time. But yes,
we can talk Chrome in 2 weeks' time. Yeah,
because
as if you're not sick of me talking already.
Because Chrome is out now, and there is no end date for it at the moment. So
on Bunt. Oh Christ! Okay.
On Bunt. So not only do you have Finest out now, which has 84 days left till that finishes.
No, that's a Chrome product as well, technically.
Yeah, and so it's all about the crafting, and then Chrome's out, and they haven't had a date on when it's going to end. So, I'll be fair. I did spend about 3,000 diamonds on trying to get Tackle Fractors.
Man,
I opened 4 packs. I wanted to see if I could hit one, and then I hit some crappy legendary or some crappy iconic.
Yeah, you want to talk about Tackle? Like the thing that's hilarious about Tackle Fractors, right? Is this was Topps' answer to Panini doing an emoji parallel in one of their products like the year before.
Right.
Like so again, Panini had the oh, I've just thrown a credit card across my room. Panini had the audacity, shall we say, to do a weird parallel like this. They did an emoji parallel in Donruss, I think it was Donruss baseball. I'm really diving the back of my mind. And then lo and behold, the following season, Topps start doing wacky, fun things, like doing wacky things like tackle refractors and what was the other one? There was another one last year as well. Some weird things like, but again, Panini did that first, then Topps copied them the following year. So yeah, maybe Panini's right. Maybe they do have all the innovation, and Fanatics is just copying them. But never mind, that's a story for another day.
But so take a break from Bunt. There's nothing out yet. Still waiting for Stadium Club to come out. Still waiting for Inception to come out. So a couple of my favorite sets.
Inception. Where's Inception? We've not seen physical Inception yet either.
And that's what I was asking. They said they said they're going to start
every show we ask this. Yeah, every show we ask, where's Inception? All right, I'm going to really quickly check the release calendar.
That would be the title of next show. Is Inception out yet? And is it Chrome Inception?
It's the title of every show. It is Inception out, yeah. Hang on.
But yeah, so I overall view, because I asked everyone, like, I completed the whole event set by the 4th day. So I was the rest of the time trading for everything else.
So I'm on the Steel City Collectibles release calendar, and there's no sign of any Inception coming. So there you go. I didn't need to go out for the blowout. Let me quickly check the blowout release calendars.
It'd be nice. I like Inception. Like I can never afford it. And
yeah, it was. So we've seen we've seen Inception in other sport. We had football, soccer, kickball, whatever we call it. Earlier this year, and no Inception. Did I spell it right? Yeah, no Inception on blowout release calendar either. So no sign of it.
I was just trying to think. Is even in Skate? I think I used to have Skate on here. I still have Skate.
Jesus, is Skate still alive?
Skate's still alive. Yes, everyone's worried.
We had this conversation 3 weeks
yes,
ago.
Everyone keeps worrying it's going to be, put away there. But it was just. I mean, I've not opened up in like a year, so I will look to see if it's in Skate by chance there. Because I know somebody was saying that.
Let's see what's coming out. That's an interesting coming out.
No, Stadium Club's out. That's what it was. Somebody was trying to. Because you always get those cross traders who are like, yeah, who I'll trade Bunt for Skate. And no, thank you.
Yeah, we definitely can do the Chrome thing, because I'm just really quick, because I'm in the release calendar. Let's quickly look at what's coming out soon. Panini Immaculate is due on the 8th. That's in 4 days' time. So Friday, if you want yourself some unlicensed baseball. Then look what's coming out on the 13th. Bowman Chrome. So yeah, we definitely can do the Chrome rant. And then Allen and Ginter are coming later this month. So I'm going to have to girdle my loins and prepare my bank balance for some Allen and Ginter. And then Leaf Exotic Baseball is coming sometime in September, as is Leaf Trinity Baseball sometime in September.
No, I was like, Exotic, no, that's Leaf. I wouldn't have known. So
yeah. Topps Pro Debut coming on the 18th. Hobby and Jumbo for the 2nd year in a row. Onyx Clubhouse Collection game used batting gloves. So it's like if your kids are into blind bags, it's like a blind bag, but you get a pair of batting gloves in it. And that's all that's coming out in September, October, according to this. Football. Let's look at football real quick. So
season starts Thursday, so we'll be all kicking off.
Yeah, man. So this is American football, obviously. So coming up, we have Bowman University, Alabama football. Then lots of Panini releases scheduled to come out. Plates and patches on the 13th of this month. Flawless on the 20th, Mosaic on the 20th, Panini Black on the 27th, Mosaic Choice, so a smaller box, on the 29th, and a couple of Leaf products still to be confirmed. Then looking into October, you've got Chronicles, Gold Standard, a different variation of Mosaic, National Treasures Collegiate. These all Panini products, of course. Origins, Donruss, Flawless, and Origins International. So all these Panini products still due to come, despite the fact they've lost the license. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to all those. We were talking earlier about Leaf having the NHL license. They don't. Upper Deck has the NHL license.
There we go. Yes.
So
Leaf has the license for pickleball.
They have the license for pickleball.
They do,
Amazing.
yeah.
I think they've got AEW wrestling as well, or is
they
that
do.
Upper
So
Deck?
I can never figure. I couldn't find out where they were famous for doing like that there, but they did mention that it had the license because.
Yeah.
So the current version of Leaf started in 2010, but the previous version,
okay,
I thought there. So, but
they do release some hockey products, and as far as I'm aware, they are licensed as well. I don't think it's unlicensed.
And they sell them at Tim Hortons.
They do. That's a very popular set, the Tim Hortons exclusive set.
I think Mike actually has some for me. He told him to save all the Kraken ones for me.
Oh, nice. Right, he's a cop in Canada. He must live in Tim Hortons.
They get free coffee there.
That's unbelievable.
Why wouldn't you go there? Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I've just spotted. Right, okay, we'll definitely end after this because I'm gonna fall asleep at my computer. October 2023, still to be determined. 2023 Leaf Pickleball Premier Edition is coming to a hobby store near you. And I feel like that is a fantastic place to finish the show.
There we go. The Pro Pickleball, Tour debut cards. All right.
My God, I'm 100% buying some of those. By the way, that's made my night. Made my night. All right, awesome. Well, I tell you, it was good to be back. I survived a lot longer than I thought I was going to. Beyond tired this evening. So thanks for hanging with us. Listen to my moaning, my chatting. Jason, thanks for being my Red Bull to keep me awake for another hour. It's a good show. Why am I rambling? Because I've forgotten to say that this show will be available as a podcast from next Monday. That's the 11th of September. Oh, it's an auspicious day.
September 11th.
I know. Christ, as soon as you say it out loud, you're like, oh shit, something else happened that day, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So not only that, you can get this as a podcast. Fuck. Oh god, this is a tired end to the show tonight. The 11th of September, next Monday, you can get this episode as a podcast on your favorite podcast location. Jason and I will be back live the following week. That is the 18th of September. With our next live show. I can have a rant about Chrome. I'm going to catch up on some sleep between now and then. But yeah, thank you for being with us, everybody. Do appreciate it. Jason, thanks as always.
Yep, no problem. And you guys take care. We'll see you soon. See you in 2 weeks.
Will do. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you soon. Good night.